Okay, let's jump right in. Today we're looking at something really fundamental, power dynamics. The subtle ways influence shifts around us.
Absolutely. It's everywhere, often unspoken.
And we're basing this deep dive on some excerpts from, well, a pretty well-known book on the topic, The 48 Laws of Power.
Right. Sometimes seen as a bit controversial, but full of observations.
Exactly. Our goal isn't to endorse or critique, really, but just to unpack some core ideas. Think of it as a lens to view interactions.
A different perspective.
So first up, this idea of projecting strength. The text suggests appearance is paramount.
Yeah, it's really about perception. The idea is that visible power, how strong you seem, can often matter more immediately than, say, your actual resources.
How so?
Well, a strong appearance can deter challenges. If you project confidence, control, people might just hesitate to cross you. It's like a first line of defense.
Okay, makes sense. Signaling competence. Now, another point is about concealing your intentions, keeping goals ambiguous.
This one's quite strategic. If
Mhm.
people don't know what you're ultimately aiming for,
Then they can't really block you effectively.
exactly, you keep them guessing. It prevents them from planning a defense or, formulating a countermove. Ambiguity gives you an edge.
An informational advantage. Interesting. Then there's this concept of making others come to you.
Ah, yes. Controlling the court, so to speak.
How does that shift the power dynamic?
Think about it. If you control access, whether it's access to your time, your knowledge, even just your attention,
People have to seek you out.
right? And that act of seeking immediately puts them in a position of, well, needing something from you. It elevates your perceived value, creates anticipation.
Like supply and demand almost. The less available you are.
The more sway you potentially hold. Scarcity can definitely breed a sense of power.
Okay. Now, the text also mentions using selective honesty and generosity, which sounds counterintuitive.
It does on the surface, but the key is selective and calculated.
How are they tools?
Well, a strategic act of kindness, maybe unexpected generosity, it can disarm people, lower their guard, create a subtle sense of obligation,
Okay.
and selective honesty. Revealing certain truths, perhaps less important ones, can build trust. It makes it easier to, let's say, obscure your larger aims because you've established a baseline of seeming truthful.
So these acts aren't necessarily genuine altruism in this context, but more like
Yes, sir.
calculated moves?
That's the observation presented in the text, yes.
Yeah.
Strategic deployment.
All right. So to quickly recap, we've touched on projecting strength, the strategy of keeping intentions hidden, the power of making others come to you, and this sort of nuanced use of honesty and generosity.
Pretty complex dynamics, and it really leads to a key question, maybe for you listening.
Yeah.
How might these principles, these observations on power, actually play out, maybe subtly, in the interactions you see or experience every day?
That's definitely something to chew on. It's a different way to analyze things, isn't it?
It is.
So maybe don't think of these as like a manual for how to act, but perhaps more as potential frameworks, ways
Mhm.
to understand the sometimes hidden complexities of influence all around us.